Rolled it. Alright, so today we are installing running boards on, I think, a 2000 Dodge 2500 pickup. It'll say it in the title. So whenever you're going to do something like this, we're just going to start real basic and get right into it. It's good to go through the list. These ones are from iBoard, and just double check the list. It should tell you everything you need. Lay it out. It doesn't have to be fancy like this. This is just so you guys can see. It helps to count. But we've gone through. We have everything we need, which is kind of weird. Usually at least one thing goes missing. But verify that. I personally like to also set all the passenger side parts to one side, all the driver side parts to another. That way, when it comes time to actually do the work, you're not trying to fiddle with something and make it fit and then realize 10 minutes in that it was for the other side. Conveniently, this kit has everything marked with BRRRRRRR for driver side. I didn't really look at the instructions to see what the M and the R stand for, but either way, that's not important. But yeah, so just lay your stuff out, verify you have everything. Check and make sure nothing's bent, broken, damaged. And if it is, just contact the company. Most of these companies are trying to make sure you're happy in the end of the day. But for now, we're going to get to it. I'll show you guys how the brackets mount up. We're just going to go through this step by step and show you guys what needs to happen. And this pretty well qualifies for most truck running boards. They're all pretty similar. For each individual one, there'll be some slight differences, but generally they're all the same. So, all right, let's go to it and have some fun. Now, so these are pretty straightforward. You just got to line up the brackets. This kit comes with them all labeled and there's instructions. So for this particular one, this is the actual mounting bracket, and it mounts between the body mount, and it uses part of the body itself to actually brace it with this little bracket. So basically you bolt these together, you bolt this through the body mount, and then this one, there's different size holes. Bolt it to there, and then there's a screw that goes through from here into the body itself, into one of the little support brackets. So I'm gonna do the YouTube magic, and bam, YouTube magic. So now that you have this all loosely put together, which you can also just assemble this on the piece separately, but we're going by the instructions. Now in this situation, it came with new body mount bolts, but this is the old one. It's in good shape. I feel like this is a bit better quality than the replacement it came with, so I'm just going to stick with this. I am using the new flat washer and lock washer, although that's washer's upside down. Bam. So then the way these mount up is the large diameter hole right here. Body mount's bolt's gonna go through there. The body mount itself, the bottom shaft sits there, and then we gotta put it in place. Take this bad boy, slide it on in there. Remember, always start hardware by hand. Do not use tools to start it, or you risk stripping the threads, and you will make your day a whole lot longer. Now, you can do pretty much all of this with hand tools, other than the holes you have to drill for the bracket. I have power tools, so I'm going to use them. Now I just got it snug so it's still movable. Bam. And then what you do is get everything all nice and lined up like this. Once it's all lined up, we'll tighten it down. But for now, we're going to run through and do the back. So hold on one second. Alright, so the rear brackets, same concept, just follow your instructions. Pretty much all kits that I've dealt with come with them. Sometimes they don't, and just got to figure it out. But in this case we do. So yet again, a little YouTube magic, and bam. Bam. YouTube magic. And now we're going to put it in. And boom, the rear one is installed. So like I said, these are all loose, just hand tight. Ooh, excuse me. And then same thing with the upper bracket, so it can all move around. And this one actually has to get screwed in. So with this particular kit, you have to do a little drilling. You just have to drill that top hole for this to line up and mount into the little brace right here. Same thing on the front one down there. So, all right, well, you ready? I'm gonna answer my phone real quick and then I'll mark that and we'll go. All right, so we're back. Now, we've got everything in, loosely tightened. Now I straightened out the actual main bracket, how it lines to the body mount. I'm gonna tighten that down a decent amount. And then once you get all these in, you're going to mark where the hole goes for this little support bracket. Personally, I always mark to the top edge of that hole with it pulled all the way out, because this is going to get pulled, like the weight's going to pull down and back like this, so the further out and up it is, the more it'll resist it. Over time, stuff like this can kind of settle a little bit. The worst part with these is these bolts. If you really want it, you could always kind of weld this stuff, but you know, not everyone's going to have that option. Eventually, I'm actually going to build custom brackets for this, but either way, I'm rambling. So center punch is good to have. I already marked it with a pen, with the Sharpie. Center punches help. They'll help make sure the drill bit doesn't wobble around and all that other stuff, but you don't have to have one. You can just be careful with the drill bit. It's going to fight you. So I'd recommend using something. You could use just a regular punch and hammer. Hell, if you had to, you could use a screwdriver if you're careful. That'll just keep the drill bit from wobbling. But another thing is, you need to clean this right here where you're going to put it. You know, it's dirty everywhere else, it's clean here, because otherwise you're just going to trap dirt and all that other junk underneath this bracket. It's just going to cause rust and other not so fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and my cameraman finally just got back. I'm going to go ahead and drill these out, get the screws going, and then we'll be back. So bear with me. Okay, so now I've got the support bracket in. We drilled our, I think it was a 6mm hole or whatever that they required. So different kits might have different hardware. So you drill it into this little brace. This one had one pre-existing, but the hole's not quite right for this setup, and it didn't angle the way I liked it. So we just put another one. It's not a big deal. If I ever need to, I can fill that in. And eventually this truck's getting custom brackets made for it, but these will work fine for now. So once I got that in, I tightened this down. The body mount bolt is already very tight. Not all the way, but close, because I've already pretty well lined it up with the actual body. So the next step, we're going to put the running boards on, and then we're going to set them up so where we want them. And then a little trick that I use is, once that you get it where you want it, put it just a little bit above level, like with the outside up higher, and then you can drill a hole in the corner here all the way through both brackets and put a screw in, just to help make sure it's less likely to move or adjust on accident. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you the end result. You get to take a look at both sides with this truck all together. So let's get to it. We're running out of light. Quiet. All right, so they're on. This one needs a little more fiddling, but let me show you this one. Looks pretty good. Now these brackets that they come with actually have a decent amount of flex in them. You probably can't even see it in the video, Not a fan of that, but eventually, like I said earlier, we're going to make custom brackets. The other one, so there's a little trick. I put a, I don't know if I showed you guys, there's a little set screw basically right here that goes through the two different brackets to help make sure that this doesn't try to rotate with the extra slot from the slots where these bolts go in. Didn't do that on the passenger side, just ran out of time, so I'm going to do that probably tomorrow or something, and then these will be all good to go. But for tonight, this has got to go back to the owner. So, all right, that's it. All right, so we got the truck all wrapped up. Like I said, the next day we finished up the passenger side. Everything went smoothly, no real major issues. I broke a screw. That was the only headache we had, but I was able to get it out and replace it. Yeah, everything worked out good. The flex in those brackets wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be, so we're pretty happy with that. We're still going to end up building custom ones because he wants them to sit lower later on, but you know, we're not doing that right away. Yeah, other than that, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's anything you want to know about. And here's little Bandit. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, the little bandito. Oh, little bandito Dorito. Oh, the kitty cat. Oh, he loved Daddy.
Should have pushed it into his fur.
Oh.